Yo, what's up, everybody? This is Ray Bradford of the Scatterbrain Podcast. If you want to type it in, it's the Scatterbrain, the Ray Bradford Podcast. If you want to check me out on social media, Instagram is Ray D. Bradford. So that's Ray, R-A-Y-D, B-R-A-D-F-O-R-D. Facebook is Raymond D. Bradford. Yeah, that's pretty much all my social medias. You don't need nowhere else. Also, subscribe to the YouTube page. Type in Ray Bradford and hit like and subscribe. Put the alert bell on so you'll know anytime that we release another podcast or any other videos. Today, we got a special guest, man. Hattiesburg. You basically can say Hattiesburg native. I want to read this correctly, so let me read what I wrote down. Y'all just wait a second here. I call him a fitness champion. I look on Instagram, I see him doggone doing freaking deadlifts, all type of stuff. He's a former educator. He's also you coach soccer. He is also a soccer player. He just blew my mind with some stuff we were talking about off camera. Hopefully he get into it. He's a podcaster of the Hardy Street Boyz. Go back and check out that content, man, and like and subscribe. You never know. Down the line, 10 years from now, you never know what'll happen. He's also now an entrepreneur in content creation / digital marketing, and the son of one of the baddest drummers that I've ever met in my life. And he's also a drummer himself. We have Drew Wooten on the podcast. What's up with you, Drew?
Bro, I'm so excited to be here.
Man, thank you so much for coming, man. Before we get started, I normally do this to every guest that come, man. I just want to know how you feeling, how your week been going on a scale of 1 to 10.
Ooh, scale 1 to 10, I'd give it a solid 9. I don't want to do 10 because 10 is perfect, so let's save that for perfect.
Yeah.
But I would say 9. I'm
Okay.
doing great, man. Super busy, but busy with all the problems I always wanted.
Yeah, that's dope. That's dope. So we do a mental health check-in too, man. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I know if your week been a 9, I know mental health is probably 10.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe on 11. What's the band that turned it to 11?
Yeah, Spinal Tap. Yeah,
Spinal Tap.
It's one louder. Yeah. I would say 9 because I think mental health is always a work in progress, so it doesn't get to be perfect.
Okay.
But I'll go kind of deep with that one.
Okay.
I'm good, man, but I definitely know I have places to go too.
Okay.
I can get better. So.
Okay, so what you been up to, man, since the last time? For those that don't know, Drew did under the Hardy Street Boyz manicure. He did a Christmas program. That's the last time I really had a good conversation with Drew. He brought me in and I did a soulful Christmas, and I was my piece to his production. So what you been up to between then and now, man? The last 3 months, man.
Oh man, well, biggest news in my life, in my world, is I got engaged. To a beautiful, wonderful, formidable woman. I always said it would take a formidable woman to, get me to act right, I guess. And man, she is that and then some. So that's been the biggest thing I've been really excited about and also terrified about, but like in a good way.
It's a good problem to have.
Oh, good problem to have, man. And just been working, doing. I do digital marketing. I basically make videos, like especially like short clips, like kind of vignettes for businesses that are just trying to grow their awareness and their brand in town. And I say what I do is the easiest way to explain it is I'm making futuristic billboards for clients because your phone is the new billboard. Ooh. Right, everybody texts and drives anyways. No one's
Nobody's being safe,
dude. I jog on the street. I see the tops of so many people's heads just texting.
Dude.
Yeah, so
I just did that probably 40 minutes. I mean, an hour ago. I was.
Yeah, no. One word. Look up. I get it. It's But yeah, so that's what I do. Is just try and get with a client and talk to them about like what they want to do as far as like everybody says storytelling. You have to say that in marketing now. So, but you figure out what kind of story you want to tell, and then I do my best to tell it in a fun and dynamic and engaging way.
Okay. That's dope, man. I met Drew. Man, I've been in Hattiesburg 16 years now. This August will make 16 years. I can't put a year stamp on it, but I feel like it's been double digits, at least 10. We played in Paradox Charlie together.
That's right.
When Paradox
we were in a
was
band
going
together.
on. When Paradox was going on.
Shout out Adam Kelly.
Adam. Man, how is that? I haven't talked to Adam in a while. Have you talked to him?
I think he's doing all right. I think he's still in New Orleans. I hadn't seen him in a long. It's been too long, but as far as I know, he's been good. Everybody's family's good.
Okay.
So yeah.
Dude, I hate we never record anything for Paradox.
I know,
Charlie,
man.
Bro.
Yeah, Paradox Charlie was like that was so much fun just because there's relatively low stakes. It's just go out, have fun, and there wasn't a ton of. I wish we would have prepared more and had more rehearsal time, but it was also at a time in my life I think I wasn't really into the work. So I don't think I was. If that would have been the case, it probably would have been with a different drummer other than me. But yeah, that was a good time. It was fun. We played some really fun shows.
Did we ever get to? I know Paradox Charlie played there, but in my stint in Paradox Charlie, did we ever play at the Thirsty Hippo?
I don't know. I remember with you we played Boom Boom Room and Dollar Box.
Dollar Box, I remember.
Fair amount.
Yeah.
I don't remember if we ever played Hippo. Surely we had at least one show where we played. I know we played Hippo once with Daryl Havard on stick.
Yeah.
But I can't even remember the timeline of that. Like when you were in the group, and then I wasn't in the group forever either. So I was one of those.
Dude, it's a Facebook memory that always pops up. A Paradox Charlie of us playing at the Dollar Box. It's me, you, Adam, of course, and Jim Pierce.
Yes.
Yeah, that picture always.
That show. Oh man, that night was so great too. Yeah. I love that kind of stuff, man. Seeing that. That's why I turned my time hop off because I'm just trying to look forward. But man, stuff like that, if I ever see it, it's like. It's the best, man. I love that.
You just taught me something. I didn't know you could turn that off.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I may need to turn it off because I used to say some crazy stuff on Facebook. I need to turn it off.
Mine's just like, oh, that was like 10 hairstyles ago. Like, damn. What was I doing? So.
Okay. So, man, before we move any further, I do want to do some pub in here, man. This Thursday, March 16th, I guess you can call it Ray Bradford and Friends. We will be playing at the Thirsty Hippo at 8 p.m. It's mostly everybody that you've ever seen me play with at the Hippo has confirmed that they will be there outside of people like, of course, the Joshua Reynolds. He's on tour. He's in Europe. I wish my brother could be here, but he's in Europe. Adam is in Nashville doing his thing, so I'm not sure if he can make it either. I haven't really just talked to him, so forgive me, Adam, if you see this. But mostly everybody else you see is going to be there. It's going to be straight funk music all night. We are having a celebrate for Brad Newton and the Thirsty Hippo because unfortunately, like I stated last podcast, they're closing down at the end of this month, man. So if you've ever rocked with us, come out to this show, have a good time. Let's celebrate Brad for having such a great venue in the city of Hattiesburg for so long and bringing so many great people and giving so many people like Paradox Charlie or Raising and Friends that turned into Friends Fly South or Snarky Puppy. I know everybody looks at Snarky Puppy as this Grammy Award-winning band, but it was a time when they didn't have a Grammy and they had to grow their bones, and Brad gave them a shot. So come and let's celebrate Brad, man, as much as you can, man. Come with festive energy. Don't come to judge nobody playing if we played the song right, if we sung the song right. Just come festive. Again, that's March 16th, which is this Thursday at 8 p.m. Also, again, another shameless plug. We shooting at the lovely Smashing Company today. If you got a podcast, if you got pictures you want taken, videos you want shot, audio you want recorded, edit it. Whatever. One wheel, one stop shop, man. Come shop with us, man. Yeah, so Drew, do you have anything that you would love to plug? Because I know you are a working man entrepreneur, so please plug yourself, my brother.
Oh man, I really just want to. I don't know if I have a lot to plug. I would say, I work with Robert St. John, chef and restaurateur, entrepreneur. We're working on this show called The New South, kind of two guys in different generations, but not stereotypically, or maybe not the stereotype of a Southern guy. And we're the idea is to kind of go to different places and joints and talk music and food, and kind of shed a nice light on this region that we call home and love so much. So keep an eye out for that. The New South, that's going to be coming out really soon, putting finishing touches on it. And other than that, man, just follow me on Instagram. I am Drew Wooten. Check out the Hardy Street Boyz. We're not posting weekly anymore, but we're going to be doing some live shows in the future and trying to do big events. So maybe not the same frequency, but definitely trying to make things bigger. And so, yes, keep an eye on that. So follow the Hardy Street Boyz on Instagram. Check us out on YouTube. If you want to learn how to play drums from a guy panicking during COVID, you can check out my YouTube channel. And I post shorts to there too. But for the most part, I'm putting stuff out for clients. I don't, right now I'm working on the comp building lofts. Joel Ingram, also a drummer. James Polk, who has a podcast in town, Rough Draft Hattiesburg, is the architect.
I seen that today. I seen you post about that today.
So I'm gonna do a whole series, like kind of highlighting how this building that's like 120 something years old, they don't have to replace the stairs, they don't have to change the beams because it was built so well with this it's like oak wood. The beam is like made of oak, which the building would cost. You wouldn't be able to build it; it would bankrupt anyone.
Where's this building?
This is right by the Calico Mall. Just go right past, go down Front Street and you go over the tracks. It's across the street from Vixen Sullivan's studio too. So there's a lot of.
Wow.
There's also right down the street from Carter's Venue. My fiance has that place. That's where we shot the Christmas special, the interview portion. So there's a lot of cool things happening down that area. Stone's Throw from SoPro and Lucky Rabbit and Harry Goff has a bunch. Anyway, getting to plug that and basically Joel's giving me like full creative control. Like, go be weird, man. Do your thing. Do whatever you think would get attention but also be fun.
Be Drew Wooten.
Bro, there's nothing like somebody saying go be yourself, man. It's like the best feeling ever. And then to get to do it for work, man, I just feel really thankful and blessed. So yeah, that's probably those two things, the comm building and then the New South, are the things I'm really excited about coming up. And everything else now is like kind of planning phase, like, getting together and doing some songs with Massive J and with yourself, and how we did those little snippets, like maybe finding time to do full. My dream would be to do a comedy album one day. Comedy
Really?
Music. Oh man, that would be so much fun. A comedy music album would be so much fun. But that's more on the dream side. Right now I'm kind of focusing on the nuts and bolts. I got a fiance now, man. It's not a game. So
oh yeah, she got to get her time too now.
It's not a game, and she's my priority. So the work serves that.
So that's a segue. So how do you divide this time, knowing that like you have to give her time, but you also building your own empire that you have to put a lot of time in as well?
Well, first of all, the key is finding the right person. When I sat down and talked with her, when we went to high school together, and then for 1 year, and then she graduated early, and so it was our junior year. We went to school together, and then senior year was the year I was gonna work on her. I had a crush on her. I work slow with. I'm not the cold call guy. Like, hey baby, what's that? Like I demonstrate value and then I wait.
Yeah.
It's not a great strategy, but that's what I do. I don't know, man. That's just me. I'm not gonna lie about it. So, but then I was like, senior year, I'm gonna make this work. This is gonna happen. And then she was gone. I was like, wait, what? She graduated early, so we just kind of missed each other. But we reconnected and at the Depot.
Great venue in town.
Oh yeah.
Well,
man.
Not restaurant in town.
Yeah, great restaurant. Yeah, shout out Chef Josh Casper, like a cool dude, but also really good at what he does. So we reconnected. It took me about 5 minutes, and I realized, oh, this isn't typical. And after about 10 minutes, was like, okay, I'm basically just gonna not screw this up, and then just keep hanging out with her and see what. And then we went to the next day. Went to El Rayo and we're gonna have one drink and sat there for 8 hours and just talked.
Oh man.
So finding the right person, what attracted me to her was she has standards. Is not satisfied with what she has. Can still enjoy life, so it's not like nothing's ever good enough. But understands somebody trying to better themselves and kind of go to ridiculous lengths to do so. Like she sent me a video the other day. There's this famous couple. This one guy runs ultra marathons. He runs like 100 miles at a time.
Bro.
And yeah, it's like, no, thank you. No, thank you. Like, I don't even understand how that's possible. Actually, there's a guy in town who does that, Zach Voigt. He's like killer. But I don't get it. I have so much respect for him. I don't understand how you even go about doing that. And she said, I forget it was a famous guy. I want to say it was like George Foreman or something. She interviewed this guy, George Foreman. It says, she told him about her husband, and George Foreman said, don't ever try and understand a man like that. Just don't. And she was like, what? Ooh. And it's George Foreman. It's the champ. Like, he knows what it's like to try and be the best, but also be misunderstood. So I think she's misunderstood in a lot of ways publicly too, just because she goes so hard and really just tries. I mean, she has built her business. I mean, it's really impressive. So the way I balance that is I know that when I give her my time, it's undivided attention. And I know that when it's time to work, it's just time to work, whether I want to or not, which is really hard creatively. It's not punching in a time clock. It's a lot of, as Tony Lyman would say, you got to have your emotional bank account full. And it's sometimes you're withdrawing, but you haven't deposited enough. So with her, I feel like I can deposit it back into the emotional bank account. So I think both things serve each other. Yeah. And the switch is the hard part, flipping that on and off. Because it's not just 9 to 5. Like sometimes I'll work at night. Yeah. And then I kind of had to cut that out because then I just was no fun and couldn't turn it off and then pay attention to what she's got going on, and then she's got stress from work too. It's not just like
it's not just you. You're not the only one that has the baggage.
She's not sitting at home tapping her foot like, "Where is he? What's he doing? I wonder what he's doing." Like she's moving, dude. She's moving and she has a whole team. So yeah, it's a work in progress, man. And I'd say like I've talked openly on the Hardy Street Boyz about like mental health too. I love that you brought that up, but I definitely have to like really check in with what's important to me, and that like that plays a big part in realizing like why I'm doing anything, why am I doing videos, or why am I hustling. It's not to have a bunch of things. It's to be around people that appreciate me and truly love me. Yeah. And she appreciates me and truly loves me. So it's all definitely worth it. But I don't think you ever really have that part figured out. So it's definitely a challenge for sure.
What's her name?
Shay.
Shout out to you, Shay. Yay. I haven't met you yet. I'm sure I will meet you soon one day. Shout out to you, my boy, because my boy is he almost red over here. I know he in love, man. I like to see that, man.
I got it so bad, dude. I got it so bad, but it's awesome. It's a cool feeling, man. I've never felt it like this before, so it's really cool.
That's dope.
It's really cool.
That's dope, man.
So yeah, man.
So, Drew, I want to get into your backstory. We were just talking off camera, and Drew Drew dropped the bomb on me, man. Drew said he went to Rowan High School. For anybody that's listening that's not from Hattiesburg, Mississippi, Rowan, it's a little in the hood. It's a little in the hood. Drew Ann said he went to ninth grade. So Drew, where are you from? And what was your process growing up like, getting into sports, getting into music and all that stuff, man? I want to hear it. I'm going to sit back and let you talk.
You want the origin story?
Yeah, the origin story of Drew Wooten, man.
Those are the best movies, man. No, so I was born in Texas, in Denton, when my dad was getting his degree at North Texas. He's getting his master's there. So that's also the home of Snarky Puppy.
Yep.
So we'll get to that later, but that connection definitely runs deep. Lived in Iowa where my dad got his doctorate. And then we moved here when he got the percussion job, became a professor of percussion at Southern Miss at a relatively young age. It was actually kind of a big deal that he got that. I guess historically those jobs weren't awarded to guys in their early 30s. So he would have been, I was 5, so he'd have been 31 when he got that job.
Fresh.
And so, yeah. And so then we moved here, and I've lived here ever since, and save for 1 year when I lived in Jackson, my freshman year of college, when I played soccer there at Millsap. So music was never really pressure. I actually grew up like a tennis player. I was pretty good. I was like lanky and tall, so that's the body type.
Can you teach me how to play tennis?
And us stay friends? Probably not. But yeah, dude, tennis? Dude, you don't fuck with tennis, man. Tennis is like, it's such a it looks like such a buttoned up sport, but it's brutal mentally. It's MMA for your mind. It's so, at least for me, for my personality type, because it's a sport where it's illegal for you to be coached by your coach in the middle of the match. Oh. You can't, it's just you.
You have to figure it out on the spot.
You have to figure it out. And so I was a good tennis player, but good tennis players that like go pro, they're either really good when they're juniors, when they're kids, or they're awful when they're kids. Like Pete Sampras didn't win a tournament as a child and then blew up as an adult. So I was going to be the one. The way I played, I was supposed to be terrible as a kid, and then but you'll be good. So just trust us. And then but I got burned out by about 13. So my whole thing, the focus as a kid was on tennis, because it was like, all right, this could be like a ticket, you know what I mean? And music was just kind of fun. It was just something, the way to connect with my dad. And then I actually had more of a musical taste of my mom. My mom liked disco and kind of like just fun.
She want to party.
She just wants to party, you know? And that's much more my energy, you know? And so I guess like the music thing was never forced on me, because my dad, you know, his dissertation was the Rudimental Reference Book, which is the kind of like the encyclopedia for drummers. Rudiments are like drum words, and then he does this whole thing where you pick them apart, put them back together, and it improves all kinds of percussionists of all disciplines. It improves their playing.
Dude, his dad is the guy.
Yeah, he is the guy.
He's the guy.
Well, and so I'll say, like, getting into sports, I always liked soccer more because it was a team, and I got tired of going to tennis tournaments. Well, while I did get to spend time with my dad, and I'll always be thankful for having two very involved parents, and, like, it's weird. I don't want to complain about that, but it was weird coming back to school on Monday, and all my buddies went to a soccer or baseball tournament together all weekend. They all have inside jokes, and I'm on the outs. And I already didn't fit in with anybody. My mom's from Rockford outside of Chicago. My dad's from Lafayette, Louisiana. So that's weird.
Raising Cajun.
Raising Cajun, yeah, for sure. Yeah, man. And then raised in Hattiesburg, Mississippi in the deep south, but in a pretty hip town around only university people and artists. And I wasn't even raised in the South, really, man. We didn't partake in a lot of...
Has Hattiesburg always been, like, this progressive as it is? Or, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The hipster side of it?
For sure. There's always been hipsters. I don't think it's been talked about as much as it is now, but I think just everything's talked about more now. But, yeah, it's always been like that. There's always been... I don't know. I've always had like a friend whose dad was like kind of like a nutty professor, you know, had like the patches on his elbows, on his jackets and stuff. Or, you know, like somebody just going, listens to NPR on the way to school and stuff. So we were always around those types of people anyway. So it felt more like an Austin, Texas probably would have, just with the university crowd. Because there's so many transplants. Yeah. And there's this weird thing that if you were born here, you try and make people who moved here feel like they're not as Hattiesburg as you. Yeah. And I don't really understand the seniority thing for just living in a place. So I never really bought. I just was like, okay, fine, I'm not going to buy into that. So I just kind of did my own thing. But yeah. So sports wise, you know, got into soccer, and then in high school, that's when I really got serious. Music wise, I was spoiled because I got to meet all these ridiculously talented drummers, just artists in general. I got to ask David Garibaldi of Tower of Power in Day of Percussion in not Clinton, Mississippi, where it was like right outside of it was in just this really small town. It wasn't Philadelphia, but it was like Philadelphia, Mississippi, like the size of Philadelphia, Mississippi. He's playing, David Garibaldi is playing in an auditorium in a high school.
What?
Because that was where Mississippi Day of Percussion was. My dad was the PAS percussion. He was the guy that booked Garibaldi there.
Okay.
And so then Garibaldi has a Q&A, and it's basically like 40 of us just getting to ask him questions. And I got to ask David Garibaldi how he synthesizes, creates grooves, like especially squib cakes like that. I got to ask the guy.
So for everybody that's listening that don't know, David, like he said, David Garibaldi played with the legendary Tower of Power, who made What Is Hip, You're Still a Young Man.
Don't change horses.
So I'm Still Digging on James Brown.
Yeah.
All these, there's only so much oil in the ground. Ooh. This group is legendary, and you can literally say that Garibaldi is one of the people who, like, pioneered the way a lot of people play today. Like,
yeah, he changed the way. Well, I don't know if he changed. If you asked him, he didn't change anything. He just did what he wanted to do. It like the most humble dude. But yeah, the linear funk drumming where like you hear lots of notes kind of strung together, but doing it in a way that still grooves and it's not just like gives you a panic attack, which is hard, like so hard to do. That was him, man. And so many people kind of molded how they played, including myself, tried to emulate what he did. And I was just so fortunate and blessed to get to meet these people and then like ask them a question in a clinic. And then because I'm John Wooten's son, I get to go have dinner with him. And then at dinner, he goes, that was a really, like, I think I was 13 at the time. And he's like, that was a wild question. Like, what are you after? And then we talked about soloing because I had real bad solo anxiety. And he's the one who told me, like, well, you just don't have the vocabulary yet. So you're trying to give a speech, but you haven't learned the words that you want to say yet. And I was like, oh, that actually makes a lot of sense. And that was a breakthrough for me playing wise and helped me get a lot better. So that was the big thing musically, was that my dad didn't want to pressure me because he knew, he knows who he is. Like, he's not cocky, but like he knows who he is. And so he's like, man, I don't know. He never said this, but the way I describe it is like, there's a reason Michael Jordan's kids didn't play basketball.
They did, but they didn't make it far.
Right. That's what there's a reason they're not still chasing that dragon.
Yeah.
And it's like, man, okay, it's maybe this isn't for me.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I've come to recently too. It's just like, I could still do it, but just because you're good at something doesn't mean that's your purpose.
Most definitely.
Most definitely. It doesn't mean that's your purpose, and it doesn't mean that's going to be what you're most known for either.
Yeah.
So, so growing up, got to play lots of music, gigged with my dad's band he played steel pans and sings, and gigged from a young age. 13 was when I was starting to actually make money playing, and it was way better than any of the jobs my friends had. It was mostly yard work. I hate yard work, bro. Dude, I am allergic to yard work.
Yeah, we'll just hire somebody to do it.
Yeah, exactly. yeah. I mean, if I can, yeah, I'll just hire somebody to do it. But yeah, so gigged with him. But then around 14, like when I turned 12, 13, that's when I got serious about drums, but then was really serious about soccer. But I was just born in the wrong country, man, for that. And my parents didn't let me play American football. I always had a good arm, and I wanted to play quarterback because I felt I was smart enough to learn the playbook and read a defense. I always had good vision as an athlete, so I figured that would have been a good fit for me.
They may have did the right thing,
but they were just like, they
saved some brains.
Yeah, dude, they saw that early. It was Oprah Winfrey, man. Oprah ruined my childhood, man. She would freak my mom out every afternoon about, like, did you hear this? Like, this is dangerous. Like, you didn't know, I had a weird thing. I had to wear my seatbelt. I had it was like a whole thing. But one was the Jets player that got paralyzed or whatever. And my mom was like, oh, no, you're not playing football. Yeah. He's a pro. So I played soccer. And we also had a lot of friends in Brazil. And soccer's huge. And so to me, it wasn't like that. People were like, man, how'd you play soccer so much? And why were you so in love with it in Hattiesburg? I was like, well, it wasn't that weird because we were around people who also loved the sport. So they just weren't from here.
So this is maybe a little side note. Who's your favorite soccer player?
Ooh.
Probably somebody I don't know, but I would like to know the name. Who your favorite soccer player? I got a couple that I like, but
I rock with Cristiano Ronaldo.
Okay.
He's like, but growing up, my favorite player was David Beckham because I had a crush on Posh Spice. And then I remember the day that I found out they were getting married, and I was in 4th grade, and it crushed me. I was like, it was a solid 2-3 days. Like, I mourned way too long for that. Like, dude, you're 9. What's your problem, man? Yeah, I like Beckham. I like Ronaldo, even though he's lately hasn't been acting as politely as I'd like to see an athlete of his stature.
Man, behave. I think when you get that good at something or that big, that great at something, I think to be that great at something, you have to be like. I don't think you're a polite person.
No, dude. Do you watch Last Dance? Michael Jordan, at his height, was stuck in a hotel room. His own friends, the only friends he has are high school friends, because no one can take his incessant shit talking when they play pool. He can't make friends because that kind of personality is great in one avenue. And if you were that great, something else is your blessing's always your curse, so that's, I think you just like, yeah, Cristiano's like that.
Yeah, I think
Messi.
I think of like musician, I think of Jocko.
Yeah.
Like Jocko, his first introduction to Zara is like, hey, my name is Joseph Francis Pistorius and I'm the greatest bass player. Like, bro, that's not how you introduce yourself.
That's how he got killed. He said the exact same thing to that bouncer, man. Like, he says it to Joe Zawinul, and then it's in Weather Report, best thing ever.
Yeah.
But then he also says the same thing to the wrong guy, and then look what happens. Like, yeah, I definitely like. I think playing style wise, I was always very similar to Cristiano. So I also identified with that because it was like okay, I liked Beckham because he was famous and he was cool.
Super famous.
Cool hairstyle, like dresses nice. I want to do that. But I also identified too much with those athletes because I didn't really think that highly of myself. So I figured if I was associated with somebody big and bad, that people would just subconsciously assume I'm like that.
Yeah. And
so I hesitate. Maybe I'm getting too deep with it, but the reason I hesitate to say who my favorite player is because for so long that was part of my identity. So playing style, I would say Cristiano, but Messi though is the best player of all time technically.
Yeah.
He has the most skill.
I used to be a big fan of Ronaldinho.
Yes.
I used to be a big fan of Ronaldinho.
Ronaldinho Gaucho, man. And I think Ronaldinho had the most fun. When he played in Paris, he went out every night. You know how hard it is to play pro soccer? Like, it's physically so demanding. And he was the best player in the world partying every night in Paris. Dude, every night.
Dude, how you do that?
I don't know.
Like, how do you stay in shape doing that?
You're just Brazilian. Brazilians, I don't know what it is. They just have the most fun, and it's like the most. I think Brazil culture-wise just has it figured out.
Dude.
Like soccer, drums, parties.
Dude, you know,
thongs.
Dr. Machado used to scare me, bro.
Yeah.
He was so intense, like
Yeah.
he was about everything. I was like, man,
Yeah.
is that Brazilian culture? Like, are they just like that intense? But then they like to party, I guess.
Yeah, dude. And you do everything 90-0, I guess. But yeah, Ronaldinho's good. He's fun to follow on Instagram too. He just looks like he's having fun. And yeah, that'd probably be about it. Honestly, I like some strikers like Ruud van Nistelrooy, Dutch guy, back in the day. I would say Cristiano Ronaldo is probably my favorite player of all time.
Okay, so you went to Hattiesburg High here.
I did. So I was the new kid a lot. I went to a lot of different schools in town, and it's the best thing that could ever happen because I got to meet a lot of people, but also being the new kid, you just learn you just become aware of your surroundings and how people are reacting to what you're doing. Mm-hmm. And that serves me so well in what I'm doing now for work, actually. But even in my personal life, it's been so great. So I went to Sacred Heart, where I ended up teaching as an adult, which is kind of funny. I was there for a minute, and I went to Tim's. I went to the old Temple Baptist. It's Hardy Street Baptist, but I went there when I was real young. And then went to Rowan in 9th grade. We were the last 9th grade class, and it was so much fun because I just got to meet a whole new group of people, and it was in a neighborhood I hadn't been to very often, to be totally honest with you.
Mug in the hood, bro.
I learned about.
I don't even like going that way. I don't even like going that way, bro.
Dude, it was so. If people watching don't know about Rowan, like I learned in the first week that I would have to know somebody to go to the store across the street after, because like there was, I think it was the first week of school, there was this huge fight outside. Anyway, it was like it was the best education in your little fishbowl is not the entire world, and you haven't even left Hattiesburg. And it was like, I don't know, man, everybody was so welcoming and so just kind and nice. It was just like, I don't know, I learned a lot about, I'd never heard the term safe neighborhood before. Someone asked me where I lived, and they said, "Oh, you live in the safe neighborhood." And I said, "Aren't all neighborhoods safe?"
No, sir.
And it was like, honestly, like that was at a time too in my life where I really just, I don't know. You know, when you're 14, you're not super secure, and you don't really
tell me about it, bro.
Yeah, like you just want to like hide and have no one see you.
Dude, it was this dude that I went to high school with. This ruined my self confidence for a while. He used to call me No Neck Raymond. Oh, dude, around women, bro. Oh man, ruined my self confidence for a long time.
Damn, dude.
Yeah.
Do you find out? Well, okay, so women loved me, and I had never gotten that attention from the women I had been around, or girls my age. So I was really popular there, but that did create some friction where I didn't even know what I was, like I didn't know what I was doing. I knew some guys kind of took offense to me being like the new guy at school, and then so-and-so likes you, and then now that guy's got a problem with me, and like, but I didn't do anything. I'm just trying to get to my next class, man. I don't even, that was the year when I figured out I had geometry and this teacher hated it. Like I was so stressed out about school. It wasn't going well school-wise, but I mean, for the most part, man, it was just like, it was just fun. It was fun because everybody seemed to be, I don't know, man. It was a different kind of energy, and everybody seemed to be happy, even though, I don't know, sometimes it seemed like there wasn't a reason to be.
Yeah.
And that was really new for me, like kind of going, oh, okay. And, but for the most part, it was just really cool to, It was cool to be the minority, honestly. It was like cool to like see what that felt like.
Drew, now I didn't have this plan to talk about that, but you just brought this up. How does it feel being? Because most of the time, black people will come around. Mm-hmm. I don't want to make this a race issue, but it's like this cool to hear. Like most of the time, black people are the minority when they go somewhere. Mm-hmm. How does it feel like being like I'm kind of outnumbered here today?
It's scary if you think that everyone's not on your team based on how much melanin's in their skin, but that's kind of that's pretty lazy, honestly. Mm-hmm. So there were people that tried to scare me. I remember from, just not even from Sacred Heart or anything, just people in town going, oh, you're going to Rowan? Well, look out for X, Y, and Z. I was going, okay, well, I want to see it for myself. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, man, I like how I feel like white people aren't as honest in social situations where like black people will tell you just what's going on. Like a girl would tell me, I think you're fine. And I'd never had a girl my age say that to me. So I was like over the moon because I'm having like several girls say stuff to me. I'm going like, oh, dang, okay. Like, I don't know. But I say that to say like I was insecure when I was 14. So this is great, all this attention, but I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. Like, I don't know. This is a lot. I don't know, man. Being the minority, I guess, is like, I could see why. I definitely see why, representation matters. It is after a while, I guess. If you never saw anyone like yourself, that would be really weird, especially in culture. Yeah. I mean, it's also weird that it took us this long to kind of get to that point, and it's still, that's a whole separate podcast. But I don't know. I didn't really think that much about it. It was just, I would have people. It was only when someone would say something negative to you, and you're 14, and you say you're real sensitive. Yeah, that would only be it. But that rarely ever happened, and there's not really. What are you gonna say to me to make me? You know what I mean? Yeah. There's not like a silver bullet, I guess. So, I had so much fun, man. I had it was cool to be the new guy, and then to also just interact with people I hadn't gotten to interact with before, and it wasn't like It was also not like I had never been around black people before. It was just going to school at a predominantly black school was really valuable.
Yeah, I'm sure you learned a ton of things in that, and even in a year span of or 4 years, man. Yeah, you learn a lot of stuff. So you're playing soccer. You graduate high school. You go to Millsaps, play soccer. What'd you go to Millsaps for? College? Degree wise.
I think I was undeclared. Ended up in the spring. I said psychology, which is where I got my degree in. At Southern. That's how I know Dr. E, and I was in the Voodoo Kings band. I was in his neuroscience lab. But yeah, I play. Is
Dr. Bruton
he's philosophy.
Philosophy.
Yeah, philosophy. Similar.
Yeah.
So soccer wise, I changed schools junior year. I went to PCS, which was a totally different experience too. And
Presbyterian.
Yeah. And I had probably the least money of anyone's family there, and that was really weird because it was just really weird because it just felt like an extreme situation. It was great, and it's what got my grades up, my ACT up, so I could go to Millsaps because Millsaps is Division III. They don't give athletic scholarships; they give under the table athletic. So this is for academic. But I got the Duke Barbie scholarship, which is for them. They only give it to 2 players a year. And I wasn't even gonna play, man. I was chasing this girl. I was gonna go to Ole Miss. It was so dumb. And
you would have been up my way, man.
Dude, that would have been bad, But
you would have partied a lot.
Oh yeah, it would have. I would have lost my shirt for sure. I still kind of did lose my shirt at Millsaps, but Millsaps was no one told me not to take a full course load in season. And so I took a full course load, and I had to keep a 3.5 to keep this grant, this $4,000 grant. and then I had a 3.4. And I was like, no. And so I lost that, and then they raised tuition. So it was a whole thing. So I had to give up on soccer, and I just kind of didn't know how to take it because that was my identity, soccer player. Like, that was it. One musician. I could play drums, but drums was just a way for me to make a quick buck on a gig. So I just was lost, man. I was in the desert for a while. So.
Wow. So you come back to USM.
Come back to USM.
Go to school, get your psychology. Now, in this time, are you feeling any pressure from old Dr. Wooten?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, hey man, you can get this degree in music, and I can get you on or something like that. Was anything like that? A little nepotism, ain't nothing wrong with nepotism.
No. I took lessons. So I will say, like, privilege is real. So I definitely had. I probably could have cashed in those chips if I wanted. But I didn't want to because I knew it wouldn't have been, my dad's great, but I want my own thing. Yeah. So I took lessons. I played in some pieces with percussion ensemble here and there. He wanted me to play drums in the steel band. No offense to the steel band, but steel bands really just aren't my thing.
I think I played like bass band one year.
That's right. That was when Kelton was playing drums, I think.
I want to say right? Kelton was playing drums.
And Kelton's like such a killer drummer too, so like they definitely made the right choice having him play, and and somebody like that's so dedicated too. I wasn't dedicated to it, man. I was like, I got lost in trying to be a scener and go to shows, and I was just kind of licking my wounds, man, because I was so hurt about the soccer thing, but then. Because I was hurt about it, I did things that didn't allow me to get another opportunity soccer-wise. Because to be a soccer player, you got to live kind of like a monk. You can't drink. You definitely can't smoke. You got to eat right. You got to watch. I mean, it's like a whole thing, man. You got to live pure, and I was not living pure.
You can't drink? What?
No, dude, you can't drink alcohol and be a. I don't think you can drink alcohol and be too much running. Your body fat percentage has to be so low. Okay. Because it's 90 minutes you cover anywhere between 3 to 5 miles per game. Wow. And half of that sprinting. So it's like a grueling sport. And I wasn't treating my body right. So so I just kind of floated, and I found Dr. Echevarria. He has a neuroscience lab in the psychology department, but he's also got this blues band, and so they needed a drummer one night, and then I ended up playing with him, and then that's kind of how I got in with the scene, because I would just be he gigged all the time, and I would play for like $20 and some beer, and that was at the time like, oh man, that sounds great, And then got graduated, sold phones at Verizon for a year.
Got to do what you got to do to make the bucks.
And I just took notes on how corporations operate. I just was like, I just want to learn as much as I possibly can about how all this works. You
applying that today.
Trying to, yeah. With a little more compassion than a corporation, but yeah, for sure, the business side, absolutely. And how things are automated and how you delegate and everything. And then I started teaching at Sacred Heart. It kind of fell in my lap. Started this percussion program there and taught samba and drum set and did the drum line for them for 10 years.
It was that long?
It was that long.
Jesus. 10 years. I didn't realize it was that long.
10 years. And then... Yeah, and then coach soccer, and then the coaching soccer was the thing that turned my life around. So
in a good way,
in the best way.
Oh, gave you purpose.
He gave me purpose. This man Joe Falla kind of saw that I was just floating. You can tell, you can see when somebody's like, he's like, yeah, I heard you played college soccer, and he knew it didn't end well, and I had basically knew I had unfinished business, and was like, man, come coach. And I know I taught lessons in the afternoon. That was most of my income. So I was like, man, I can't make it to practice. He said, well, just show up. You're here for 10 minutes. Just show up. Just let the kids see that you're here. Mm-hmm. I said, okay. So I jokingly said I was a consultant, a soccer consultant. I show up. I go, hey, just tweak this. And then I got out. But then the first year I started just showing up to every practice, to every game. That was when I was like, okay, I'm gonna be your assistant coach. I did it for $0 for no money. And
Holy moly.
yeah, bro. And I just did it to prove to myself I could finish something. And we got to South State that year.
Dude, that's a big thing for men, man. Just prove to yourself you can finish something, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Don't, if you quit, oh well, go back and finish something, man. That's big. That was big in my life. I did some stuff that I was like, dude, just go back and finish it, man. Like my degree, because it took me 15 years to get my degree.
Yeah.
But it's like, dude, just go back and finish it. Go back in.
I'd say it's big for millennial men and younger, because it's a whole societal thing, but like, it's valued responsibility. You can give me the keys, but let me drive. Yeah. Don't give me the keys and tell me not to lose them and tell me all the bad things that are going to happen to me if I lose them. Let me drive, you know? And we're just not allowed to drive because, well, the older generation, they have to work longer and they're not giving up jobs. It's a whole thing. But yeah, so with coaching, we got to South State, and then the whole team went and ate at a Mexican restaurant. I remember eating chips and salsa, telling Joe, if we could just get these kids in shape, you'd win every game, because no one's in shape. So that was kind of when my fitness journey started too, as an adult. And I said, I'm just gonna write up a plan. We'll get a vague meal plan for them, like kind of loose guidelines, because they're still high school kids. Yeah. Let them live. But we're going to start working them. And so we started doing this rigorous training program, and then we went back-to-back state titles after that, those 2 years. And then after that, I was kind of burnt on I'd been burnt on teaching. And then but coaching was like, look, I gave everything to this, but I got to start. I was coaching one day for a club team in town, and I watched one of my buddies I grew up with drop his kid off at practice, and I'm coaching, and none of the kids are mine. And I was like, I want to be the one who drops his kid off instead of... It, like, hit me hard, too. And I had to do this whole session, and I was like, nah. I felt bad because I was not feeling it, dude. And that was when I started to get into the video thing, and then COVID hit. And I'd just gotten the job at Sacred Heart to do social media videos and start a podcast for them, because I had pitched it for the soccer team, because we were going to state and all the kids getting nervous with a mic in their face. I said, if we lose because we have no media training, it's like fitness. We don't have reps, so we just need reps.
A kid is going to go crazy.
Yeah, and so that would be, what a shame that would be if we lost because of that. And we didn't, but then the school was like, well, I had a boss, she was... I think she's mid-70s. She had heard from people that she was maybe a little too old to do the job. Well, has such a good vision, was like, yeah, go ahead, Drew, you can do it. Like, trusted me to do this really cool new thing, unique thing. And then that's what spawned Hardy Street Boyz, and then the drum videos I did for my YouTube channel, and then Hardy Street Boyz turned into what I'm doing now. So it was just one of these like things where I woke up in COVID and going, I could want to make a bigger difference, and then
it wasn't an actual. How can I say this? It wasn't a thought process. Well, not thought process, but wasn't a planned thing that all these things happened. It was just kind of, and then one of them turned into, oh, I can really do this type thing. This is my purpose.
No, it was God, man.
Yeah,
I didn't really at the time. At the time, I kind of backed off from not believing in God. I knew there was a higher power and all that. But in college, having soccer taken away, I was spiteful and think, oh, who would do this to me? Anybody that wants to. And I was in such a dark place mentally. Mental health was so bad from 22 to 25, just so bad. And I'm glad I lived through it, that kind of bad. And just like, well, why would any God do this to me?
Dude.
And then all this stuff, especially since I met Shay. Shay was the cornerstone of like going, well, I was in the desert for so long, but now life is so borderline perfect. That was God, because I needed to feel all that pain and all that suffering and all that randomness.
Dude, it's why did you say that? I identify with that so much, man. Just I talk to Willie about this all the time, man. Like, dude, well, not talk to him about it, but he know this well because we were in a band together for so long, right? Mm-hmm. Like, dude, from like 18 to like 28, bro. I'm 33 now. So, like, for about 10 years, I did not believe in church. And it was like, I kind of almost didn't believe in God, but it's just my upbringing wouldn't let me not believe in God. That was the only thing that kept me on the track of that. But it's like, dude, I don't even know. To this day, I don't even, those 10 years, it's a blur.
Yeah.
I know I was just like out here moving crazy. Moving crazy for 10 years, man, I would have never expected you to, like, you know what I'm saying? Feel that way, man.
Yeah, man. Well, I mean, I had, dude, I was so bad off. I didn't like people who did believe in God. I thought they were foolish. I thought they were wasting their time. I thought all these things, man. And I've never said that. I've only told a few people that. Like, that was how I felt. But I had to feel that way. Like, that was God too, man.
Yeah. And it's weird how he moved, bro.
Super weird.
How, in the internet world, if you refer to God as a he, she, whatever. But, like, it's God to just move stuff. You don't understand it. I talked to
a priest once. I grew up Catholic, and I talked to a priest, and I said, "Yeah, I just can't call him God yet, or her God. I just call the universe." And he goes, "The universe is still the same thing. Call it whatever you want."
Yeah.
And like, yeah, I just always was really rational, and you know, like my parents had to tell me at 5 that Santa wasn't real because I was afraid there's a stranger in the house, and y'all told me not to talk to strangers. That's a double standard. And they're like, "You're fucking 5. Like, just."
Chill out, relax, man.
Dad's gonna eat the cookies and just shut up. You're getting the toys. You got everything you wanted, you spoiled brat. Like, what's your problem? You know, so that's kind of where I'm coming from. The willingness to like know the truth kind of kept me blind to like the most important truth I needed to know.
Yeah,
which is weird. But now it's one of those. I definitely was doubting Thomas, and then. All the things that happened, the way they happened, the way COVID hit, and I got that job literally within months of each other, because they chose mid-school year to go ahead and start making videos for the school, and that's when I was able to have like enough. I had a classroom I could use to go film my drum videos, and because I was still going to do drums, and then I realized doing the podcast for the school, the Crusader. I was like, man, I'm better at this than I am at drums. And I'm not. I just started. I could tell, like, this is what I'm supposed to do. Use my personality, use my, just get to use my mind and also really get to be myself. And that was the Hardy Street Boyz was when I really was like, oh, man, just being weird, doing stuff for our friends and making content that I knew I would watch.
Yeah.
But it's like me making it like was a cool.
Did you have a plan going into the Hardy Street Boyz? Since like we'll go a segue into that, man. Did you have a plan for that, or was it just like I want to start a podcast? I figure it out as I go type thing.
I was already making videos. Joel Ingram, who's doing the comp building stuff, was like, man, we need some stuff for Midtown because they started Midtown Merchants Association. They're doing a concert. They wanted to just do some video content, and he had seen my drum videos. And then he was like, man, just, you know, could you just figure out how to put some stuff together? What would it be? What would it look like? And I had told the school, well, you know, it's cool to do videos for the school, but only people who go to the school watch it. And that's great for morale. But if you're really trying to advertise, you need to do something. I need to go do something that's separate from this. So I was like, I also pitched that to them. I'm going to do something about Hattiesburg and interview people, and then because they were looking for a face for them, you know, who's our face, and you know, so it was a lot of different things happened at once, and then my buddy Massive J, who's just everybody knows him in town. He did the Wards song, you know, rapping about Wards. Did a music video that like just
it's random when you hear it. Random times, man.
Jamie is like he's random, but because his heart is so good. It's like anybody else who did that would look like you just wouldn't like him. Like you wouldn't. But because he is such a pure person, man, he can be funny like that and do something that I've never met anyone else who can do what he does. And it's not like musical proficiency. It's not kind of like.
It's just feeling based.
It's feeling, man. And it's just him. It's him. And it's one of those like, it's so cool because no one can take it from him. No one could. You could line up 1 million people to try and do what he does. And
Dude, I got introduced to him through him in DC. You ever heard of any of that stuff?
Yeah.
Like, dude, I was like, what in the world is this, man? Like, just one random night at the Hippo. I think like an open mic or something. Brad had them there, and they were like, dude, where has this been?
And Ducon's another one. He was like, "This you can't copy." That dude, I played in Soup Kitchen with him, and you can't copy what he does. Like because what he does is himself. Mm-hmm. And so I got with Massive, and I was like, I was nervous to do something by myself. I didn't really know how to do something by myself. The Crusader was like, it was just me interviewing kids or teachers or whatever. But it was small, and I just knew it was like, it is what it is. And then I got with Massive and was like, let's do something for our friends and try and... The main idea I had was to... you couldn't go into restaurants at the time, so to try and raise awareness about curbside delivery because restaurants were struggling at the time. And so then we got the show going, and then things kind of opened back up. So the original idea for it was what I'm doing right now for restaurants and for places and stuff. And then it just turned into like, okay, I always wanted to be on SNL. That was kind of how I communicated with my parents, was through comedy. I first made them laugh doing an Ace Ventura impression, like doing voices and making faces in the mirror, just being weird, man.
Which Ace Ventura?
The first one, Pet Detective.
When Nature Calls is my favorite one.
Yeah.
Chicago!
Yeah. Chicago. Yeah, dude, I love all that stuff, man. For me, it's the opening scene when he's the UPS driver and he's kicking that box.
Yeah.
That gets me every time because he just doesn't care, man. Like, so killer, dude. So that, like, Hardy Street Boyz allowed me to be that weird person that kind of felt like you didn't fit in anywhere here. Mm-hmm. It allowed me to be that weird person, and then I got rewarded for it, which was awesome, but it's also dangerous. So it was something that's like super gratifying and really cool to be able to highlight. Like, I think you were episode 3.
I think I did 2 episodes or 1 episode and a thing.
Yeah, you did an episode. We did the Fix the Funk song.
Fix the Funk.
Because, downtown smelled weird.
Smelled really bad, Hattiesburg.
And
Jesus Christ.
Bro, they were in the news, like national news. They tried to, I got phone calls before releasing that. They tried to stop the release of that. So, yeah. The First Amendment, dude. I had pressure from people. Like, can't release.
How they knew that you were doing it?
Oh, that's a great question, man. That's a great question. I need to change my passwords maybe, but I got flack from people which makes it it makes it so much better. Like, I'm so glad that, also my thing is, were you trying to keep the smell of downtown secret? We could all smell it, my guy.
Dude, I walk outside
like, we're not...
Man, I'm down bad today, man. What's going on?
This isn't breaking news. It's not like we know a secret and we're telling everybody. Like, we're just commenting on something and we're trying to make light of it in I don't know, man. I like art and murals. I'm just saying, like, I like music too. And it was the most fun getting to create with you and Jaime and Massive.
It was fun and funny.
Yeah, dude, Jamie doing his vocals. Like,
it took like
sitting down.
6 tries, bro.
No offense to Massive, but yeah, there's a lot of takes. What was at a faster tempo? That was the other thing, working together too. I probably pushed him a few times. That was one time. I was like, no, it's gotta be like at least 10 BPM faster. Anyway,
that was good, though.
Yeah,
that's good. Good. You need people in your corner like that. Push you to be better.
100%. Well, that being uncomfortable is also a blessing, and being on the show made me very uncomfortable. I didn't want to be on the show. Yeah, man, I'm real self-conscious. Dude,
when I tell you, I remember my episode. I came in, we probably talked for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, jumped straight in. It was like natural, and we were done. Once we were done, just like, yeah, man, we're done. I'll send it to you. It was like, it felt like natural. It didn't seem like no pressure on your end or nothing, man. You hide it well if you felt that way.
This, I love this.
Yeah.
I could do this. I feel like I'm supposed to. I feel like that's the purpose, right? We talked about that. Like a man without purpose is a dangerous thing. Like that. This is purpose. It's just figuring out how to make money off of it, but then also like how it's gonna help other people.
How to make money off of the main question.
Because I gotta feed myself. I gotta take care of myself. But then I also want to get to a point where I can help. Or I can do something. The whole point is I do want to make people smile and laugh, and that's the best feeling ever. But I also want to do something bigger. I want to do something greater, and I want to be able to do it for more people. So that was where the stress came in. And it was also like me I did all the production stuff too. So I'm going I'm looking at my face on camera for hours a week. It's not good. It's narcissist, bro. Like, you're not supposed to see your face that much.
Did you ever feel like, ooh, I look good today?
I've looked in the mirror maybe 3 or 4 times and gone, I like that. I'm real hard on myself. I'm real hard on myself. And it's a bummer. I'm now getting to a place. The other thing that was really weird too is because I think in my head I was still wanting to be this big soccer player, even though I'm teaching drums at a school for years and years. My body is not up to snuff for that either. In my head, I didn't feel like a school teacher. I felt like a badass doing something. And then when I actually started doing something that still don't feel like, I feel closer to a badass. But when I did something that I finally got some confidence back, I think it was perceived as me being cocky in whatever circle I was in. And so that part was weird too.
So is this similar like imposter syndrome type stuff?
Oh, imposter syndrome, real bad.
Yeah, okay.
Real bad. But because I had a purpose, none of that matters. I say this all the time, there's so much freedom in having no choice. I just felt like I had to do the show every week to be consistent because I didn't want to let anybody down. I learned the video work because I didn't want to let my boss down and, who gave me the chance. It was hard to put myself on camera, and for about 3 or 4 months, I just hated it because I just hated how it looked. I liked that I was doing cool stuff and that there was opportunity for it to grow and for it to change my life. But getting on camera at first was hard. So,
dude, I tell you, man, look, this camera is not nice. My sister looked at episode 2. I went over her house. She said, "Man, boy, you done gained some weight. Boy, you sitting there, I looked at your stomach. I said, dang, man, you my sister, bro. You gotta give me a little validation or something, man. Don't knock me down like that, man. That camera ain't nice, dog."
Bro, everybody's like, why'd you start doing CrossFit? There's a couple of reasons, but it's not a coincidence that it coincided with me being in a 4K resolution every week. Because it's going, I thought maybe I need to do some more of them squeegees. Gotta play my squeegees more. It was a whole thing. So that part was, and then hearing your own voice is weird. I still kind of, when I work with a client for the first time, I still kind of, forget how weird it is to hear your voice recorded for the first time. It's just kind of bizarre. And it was during a weird time in life for me personally too. There's all kinds of chaos going on, and it was just it was all very hard to manage, but it was all very gratifying. And I'm glad all those things happened because that's how I knew it really was my purpose. And it wasn't just a fleeting thing. It wasn't just, I also learned that just putting your stuff on the internet's not a meal ticket. You got it. It's a job. It's another job.
Oh, dude. I asked you how your mental health was, dude.
How's yours?
I'm in the dumps. I'm slowly going down, man. I'm slowly going down. Bro.
Yeah.
Well, first 1 week it was a 6. 1 week it was the other is a 5. I'm about at a 4, bro. The good part is just when I get to go play on the weekend. Yeah. I just get to being around people is what helped me. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It helped me. But if you let me get to myself and get in the YouTube studio, let me check this, let me check that. Wow. Then because I release music too, so it's you still gotta check your Apple Music.
Yeah, how that did,
bro? Man, the profession we're in. I tell people this all the time, dude. The profession we're in is bad for people. Like your self-confidence, man, because your worth is really only it can be perceived as only how people view you.
Yeah.
Do they like what you do?
Yeah.
It's like you can know in your mind, like, I am meant to do this 100%. But if only 100 people are rocking with this and you can't make a living off this, it's like, well, am I meant to do this?
Yeah, you are. You are. Yeah. You're meant to do. I've told you that's. I mean, you are. But yeah, that's where your brain goes, because you're only as good as your last show. You're only as good as what you're doing for other people. So if only so many people care about what you're doing, like I don't know. For the most part, I don't really trust people. I don't really rock with a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know, so then to do this and go, I want millions of people to watch myself is insane. What do you do? What do you mean? Yeah. You know? And it's, I find myself, it's very much like jazz versus pop, where like I want to do good. I want to do like, look, I learned all this stuff. Look at all these things I'm able to do, even with videos. Yeah. I'm able to do these cool things. Don't you want this music that's at a certain BPM that will sell to people, that will also feel like it's built for this age bracket, but will reach this gender, whatever. Like get all like real technical about it. People don't care. They go, is that the new Miley song? Can you put that under that? I'm going, are you serious? You know,
I just put all this time crafting this thing.
Or I'll go on, dude, I hate TikTok. I'll go on TikTok and I'll see what's trending. I'm going, I don't want to trend. If that's what's trending, then count me out of trending. Yeah. There's no amount of money. I don't want to be a Real Housewife, bro. I don't want to do. And that's a shot at Shay. She likes Housewife. I'm sorry, Shay. I shouldn't have done that. But like that kind of stuff, man. Like I know that speaks to a lot of people. Mm-hmm. But I don't want to do lowest common denominator. Yeah. So then, if that's the cost,
no low hanging fruit.
If that's the cost, I refuse to pay it. Then it's not for me. But yeah, it's tricky. It's tricky because you kind of have to not care what people think to start this. Because most people, when they tell you, like, if COVID would have never happened and I'd never got separation from everything and realized how little I was actually doing for how little I actually was doing, basically, then I would have had somebody talk me out of it. Joel Ingram was the guy who said, are you gonna quit? Are you gonna keep talking about how you can't do it, or are you just gonna go do it? You're gonna keep making excuses? And I was like, it was in T-Bones. I'll never forget it. You know, it's people like that who were like, just go do it. David Echevarria was like, man, you're gonna look back and about it. This was actually a year ago. He's so right. You're going to look back and you're going to go, the personality thing on camera, you have no idea how good you are at it. And I was like, what? You know, when most people are like, why do you think you get to be on camera? I want to be on camera. I want to do it.
Yeah, but it's different. Like, can you carry the conversation? Or can you even, if you're not carrying the conversation, can you at least guide the conversation?
Yeah, yeah. Well, and most people don't. We talked about this earlier. Like, if you have a cool job, the cost is like always having to explain what that job is. Yeah. Like people ask me, what do I do? I go, that's a great question. And then I walk away if I don't know them. It's like, it's a great question. It's like, I don't know. But yeah, like people want things without the work. And I said this about the Hippo, you deserve what you support. You know, people want cool things. They want to be famous or whatever they want. I don't know. Just a little more notoriety. I'm certainly, I just got a little more notoriety in my circle of friends with the show. And yeah, it was, people will never really understand the true cost of it. And that's okay. Actually, I don't want them to, because that means I did my job. Yeah. All the stuff I had going on, like I'm going to write a book one day. You're going to be like, what? And you did a podcast in your, spare time? What are you talking about? Like, yeah, I didn't have any spare time. And it was, I don't know, man. It's not great for your mental health for sure. That's why, like, I stay in therapy. I started doing therapy recently, but I stay on it. I journal. I work out.
We will have to talk off camera about that. But, Red, I need recommendations, bro. Mm-hmm. This is a serious moment right here. So I lost my dad when I was 18. Mm-hmm. I lost my mom when I was 27. Bro, I don't think I've ever grieved properly. Just kind of like moved. Like, oh, well, life goes on. if I don't keep going, this rent is due. Like this car note is due. You see what I'm saying? Or like this, and it's affected like, man, it's crazy because it's affected like how I view people. I view people like, man, I lost the most important people to me. So like, if you leave me, you stop being friends with me, that's fine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I do. Please, recommendation, please.
Well, I started doing that, the BetterHelp, the stuff you see on all the podcasts. I started doing that just because, I mean, if therapy is expensive and it requires a certain amount of access, which sucks. It's just like healthy food's expensive. So, I mean, I'm trying to be healthy, but like, y'all making it real hard. you know, like, it's like that Ocho Cinco, like the Ocho versus Science. It's like, why is all the healthy food so expensive? Like, I see McDonald's.
You being a fitness guy.
Yeah.
Is that he makes sense when I hear him say it like, you eat what you want to eat, but you have to work out like he works out.
Yeah. You have to be willing to make it hurt every day. You get one rest day a week.
Like
Sunday.
He works out crazy.
Yeah. He also is blessed. Like with athleticism.
Yeah.
Like it's just like he's blessed. But yeah, he also earns it. You don't just sit around and get an 8-pack. So
yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah.
Like, you telling everybody out here.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I've been eating McDonald's for 33 years.
I'm down bad. I just love his attitude towards it all because it's just like so defiant too. Like I love that energy, man. Yeah, I don't like. You have to put the work in. So the same thing applies mentally. So you have to So I've been doing it 2 months now, and my ability to not be as bothered by situations is a lot different. Certain things for me, it's like trust is a big thing. Understanding like what's actually happening versus what could happen. My brain's real good at what could happen. You know, like
make a whole scenario.
But you think about it, that's a learned survival technique. Yeah. That'll serve you, you know, but it's not great in like nerfed up, life that we have now. I don't have to worry about a wolf coming to get me. So it's you know what I mean? So I don't need that, I don't need that much firepower mentally. So yeah, like just finding a place. And for me, man, the biggest thing has been finding a place to put it. So yeah, it is still moving, but it's grinding like with this purpose where I'm going, okay, so I can make money doing this thing, but this also helps this other person out with their business, which it helps them, changes their ability to change other people's lives. So when you start like, you know, you going and playing a gig, you're grinding, I don't know, maybe the first step would be like looking at how that changes other people's lives just for a little while. Like how, because when you start gigging a lot, it's like, how much are we getting paid again? What are the hours? What time's break? You start thinking about that kind of stuff. Yeah. And you lose man, these people are really enjoying something because of how hard I've worked and how hard we've worked as a collective, the band, and you know, you lose that. And that's totally natural. I've done that even with the video stuff, you know. But yeah, I think the mental health part is so, it's important we keep talking about it. Same way we're talking about all the things in society that have been pretty ass backwards for so long. It's just the part about how you fix it. I hope that we continue to talk about solutions. So for me, with mental health, it's therapy. Yeah. And before that, it was exercise. So the gym I went to versus is a team thing, and it's competitive. So you could, you know, so it's a workout where it's like, say, okay, we're going to do 10 push-ups, and we're going to see who can do them the fastest. Oh. And then everybody shows up to what, like, on the face of it, most people go, no way in hell I'm doing that. That's crazy. Yeah. That's just going to hurt. And then everybody just realizes we're all the same kind of crazy. Yeah. And so then you become buddies. And some of my best friends now, it's the shared suffering that they do in, like, military. They train people. It's that kind of thing. But that's been a huge thing, just moving, sweating, and then being able to talk to somebody who is neutral and just tell them about stuff, man. It helps. So BetterHelp's good. Or Geraldine Dat's in town, Southern Behavioral Medicine. I'm doing videos for her right now, but I've known her forever. and she's really good. Really from New York too.
Oh.
Very progressive, and like their treatment options and stuff. They're good, cutting edge. So.
Okay.
So yeah. Man.
So we will keep it moving forward here. So now you are in your entrepreneurial stage. How has this life been to you? Because I think when we did the Christmas shoot at the legendary Thirsty Hippo, you were like, dude, life's great.
Yeah.
And this before I'd seen the engagement and anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, life is great, dude. Like this is the best decision I could have made. So how has it been since you jumped into it, man?
It's been amazing. It's been amazing. Working with Robert St. John has been, he's been on Mississippi Public Broadcasting for years and has done documentaries and he's just an incredible performer and has turned out to be like an incredible friend, like already. Like I don't know, man. I think he's just got a lot going on, and I don't think a lot of people get to see that side of him where like he's just kind of he's like a hipster kid deep down, and just like he's just awesome, man. Most awesome dude. And so that was the big thing, the big turnaround for me, where I was going, okay, so you and I can talk business. He has like 7 restaurants. Like,
I was just about to say, what all restaurants? What's the main one?
So Crescent City Grill is the big one.
This the dude who owns. Yeah. He owns Parrot, the one next to it.
So it was Purple Parrot. It's a Purple Parrot Room now. El Rayo, Ed's Burgers.
Yeah, he's a
Tabella.
He's a freaking.
He's the man.
Legendary.
He's the man.
Legendary, bro.
And then like I was just like, I pitched to him, I want to do a video with you and your son called Chopping Onions, where y'all chop onions, but his son was going to culinary school. And I said, I want you to chop onions so that you have an excuse if you start crying. But we're going to see who starts crying first, because you're sad he's going off to school. Yeah. And so he's like, all right. And I just kept bugging him. And he's just like, and that wasn't like me. I didn't used to, Shay, I had a huge crush on her, but I didn't say anything. Yeah. I didn't ask her out. I wasn't that guy, because I was always afraid of what might happen, what might go wrong. And so then I just started taking a chance, man, and finally went and did those videos, and he was like, oh, this is great. And then saw the response that they got, too. But was like also into the quality, too. And then we just struck up this partnership, and then it just turned into this thing where we do basically short-form podcasts. So I found out when I did Hardy Street Boyz, people would watch the clips because the show would air every Thursday. But I started doing the clips, which like doubled or tripled edit time, and then posting on social, which is more involved than you'd think on the face of it. Yeah. That's why you're a 4 this week. So. you know. But so that's what built the show, was social media, so people could watch the quick bites. But people would tell me, I watched that episode with Ray, that was so great, and it's Tuesday. I'm going, bullshit, it comes out Thursday. In my head, I didn't say that. Yeah. But in my head, I'm going, bullshit, like, okay, that's not, I was mad at first. Well, watch the full. I'm doing a multicam. I'm filming on, like, I'm doing this. I'm going through and changing the audio. Anytime I see a peak, I make sure I just drag it down. And Willie knows you got to highlight it. You got to put the things here. And you got to drag it down. And it goes, I need it to go to -10, but it keeps going to -11. And I'm a perfectionist. And then it goes to -9. I can't get it to 10. I'm like losing it, right?
Anxiety through the roof.
So that's why I say bullshit. You didn't see the whole episode. I worked on the whole episode. It hasn't aired yet, but then I figured out if that's what the market demands, then I have to adjust. That's letting go of playing jazz chords and playing power chords, man, because that's what people want to hear. So I was like, well, I can market that to businesses and then also do more videos at scale, so I can get a higher volume per video, and out of a content day. And then actually, even charging in this market, which is, I want to stay here and live here, not charging what you would charge in LA.
Yeah, which it would be astronomical.
Yeah, even with a higher cost of living, there would still be I mean, I still could do remote work. That's a whole thing, but charging very modestly, still do really well for myself. So, especially relative to how I was doing as a school teacher, you know, at a private school too, where that's a whole thing too. But yeah, it's really fun for me to learn more about like the business side. And then I'm on the cusp of being able to hire somebody too, which is really exciting. So, but it's gratifying getting to work with people and then kind of feeling out. I had a client that I did videos for, and they just weren't feeling it, and I was upset. And actually, Shay told me, said, "You just have to find the right clients." I said, "What does that mean? What does that mean?" You know, there's all these people giving me advice and telling me things, and going, "What does that mean?" And when I got with enough people, like Robert's a perfect example, I got with enough people that appreciated what it was and realized what the true value of it was, and that I was giving them a deal.
And how it grew their stuff.
And how it helped them. And then they have actual spreadsheets that say that their sales increase or that more people have at least seen them. The awareness is better. So that's when I was like, okay, I have to be okay with being myself, providing myself almost as a service, and then only rocking with people that
rock with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it. And that's like, that goes back to like, that's been my whole issue my whole life. Like even as a kid, just accepting who I am. And yeah, like I like to play soccer and I like to listen to jazz, but I grew up in Mississippi.
We also like to listen to blues.
Yeah, I like to. Yeah, but like, you know, I didn't do all the same things that everybody else was doing, but it was because I did what I wanted to do, what served me and what I enjoyed. So I'm not going to change that now. But now it's really cool because it's not only just okay, it's like celebrated and it's like it's rewarded. I mean, I stopped taking my earrings out when I go to see clients because, like, you see me on camera, you know I wear, like, that's a thing. I couldn't wear them at any other job I've ever had. That's still a thing for people, I guess. I don't know.
Dude, I literally just noticed when you said it.
Yeah.
I didn't even pay attention.
Because I just leave them in. But I don't take them out anymore because it's like, you know, whatever. Maybe if I was in a boardroom, I'd take them out if I was wearing a suit.
I'm sure Gary Vee don't change Gary Vee when Gary Vee goes somewhere.
Maybe that's there. Well, I just realized there's still some insecurity there, maybe, but it's worrying about losing out.
Yeah.
So then how much of yourself are you willing to change? And yeah, I just think it's really cool to actually get to be myself and it not only not be a problem, like be a good thing.
Yeah.
So that's worth the price of admission right there for me.
Man.
So.
Speaking of price of admission, you threw it to me. That was a good throw there. Speaking of price of admission, like I mentioned earlier in the episode, the Thirsty Hippo, owned by Brad Newton, is I don't know if Brad wants me to give his name out. We may have to cut that out, but oh well. It's closing down at the end of this month, man. A lot of memories have been shared at the Thirsty Hippo, man. How do you feel about this, man? Before you get into how you feel, I'll give how I feel, man. Because, you know, first time I ever went to the Thirsty Hippo was in the old location over across from Town Square. And I walked in, somebody was like, yeah, Daniel Schroeder. Yeah,
Schroeder.
He told me, like, yeah, dude, you should come to the Thirsty Hippo tonight, man. It's a band playing called Snarky Puppy. So I said, I don't know. But I'm in a band with Willie and Ben. So I tell Willie and Ben, hey, man, I'm going out here tonight, man. Y'all may should come by. To my surprise, they came. You know, we weren't the closest of friends at the time. We probably had I won't say just met each other, but we were getting to know each other. Mm-hmm. So I walk in. Life-changing experience, all because of this place, this environment, this vibe that Brad had set up, right? So, like, from then to now, man, it's been so much. I've watched Brad give people opportunities. Like, he didn't even know them. It's like, hey, man, yeah, you should let this band come open for us, Brad. This band from Nashville called Dynamo. Let them come open for us. Or, like, okay, I trust you. I'll take your word for it. Or, like, I just need somebody to fill a gap this night. It's heartbreaking to me to see it close. Now, have I been to go support everybody that's played at the Hippo? No, I will say I go support who like what interests me the most. But it's just the fact that like it was so much that interests me there. So it hurt my heart to see it close now, man. Like I can't believe it, bro. Uh-oh.
Yeah, it hurts for sure.
Yeah,
it hurts because it's one of the things that made Hattiesburg cool and livable for a hip young professional, for somebody who wants to live in a city at a decent cost and wants some culture and wants their city to be kind of weird. So yeah, it hurts there. I personally am excited for the people who run it to be able to kind of live their lives now.
That's the other aspect of it.
Not at the expense of people who just want to have a cool thing.
You're right.
And you can't support every band.
Yeah.
Your liver wouldn't support you. Your liver wouldn't support you. You can't go to the bar all the time. Like, I mean, if you do, get help. But it's like, I don't know, man. I posted something about it because we teased. We had Brad at the Hippo on the show.
Yeah.
So we publicly said that
he's. Have you heard about the Hippo?
Have you heard about the Hippo? That was after COVID. And we did it clickbaity, and I kind of regret doing that because I was just looking for views. We did it kind of clickbaity so people would click it because they would be afraid that it was closing. And now that it's real, it's like, yeah, it seems like it was kind of in bad taste. And I posted something the other day where I said, you know, it's a mecca, artistic mecca, and it's a place where I realized going to see Snarky Puppy and what they've turned into now, they're all close to us in age, not much older. You know, that was the first time I saw my dad respect somebody closer to my age.
Yeah.
He doesn't do that very often. You know, like I saw people create something completely new and different that I hadn't heard, but I kind of had heard, and you know, is this weather? This isn't Weather Report, but it's not.
That's exactly
it's not. It's also not Snoop Dogg, but it feels like both of those things because of Sput.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it hurts to see that side of it go away. But man, there's so many nights. There's two people that show up to somebody playing guitar and singing, and I mean, I just don't like the fact that he kept it going this long is insane to me.
It's bro, and then he moved it to a much bigger location.
Yeah, well, and the bigger location I think like for the burlesque crew, that's a big deal because that's the only way they could have it. No place in town is gonna, because that's kind of like towing the line a little in the Bible Belt.
Yeah.
You know, at the time when they started, that was like ooh, you know, how you gonna do that? And Brad's like,
oh, well,
roll with it.
Go.
Oh, someone says it's not okay. Well, you're definitely doing it here now. You know, like, which I love that energy.
He's such a badass when it comes to that, man.
Such a badass. And like, and so it gave like, that's like a cultural lexicon of this town, you know, and then bringing the out-of-town talent like Snarky Puppy, where, I mean, I got to know them when Sput needed a drum set, and then Brad texts me, he goes, hey, I gave Sput your number. I go, you gave? So Sput Searite has my phone number? Dude, cool. Dude, and then, yeah.
Dude, I walked up to Michael League after one show. You know how you said you normally don't like go to people? I don't talk to people, man. I could like, I don't do that, man. So it's like, I built myself up. Yeah, I'm gonna go talk to him, man. Cause like this before Grammys, all this, like I'm looking at him like he's that type of dude. Now he's really that type of dude. Yeah. So I go talk to him like, hey man, I was like, do you get lessons, man? I'm 6'4", bro. At the time, I probably had to be 280 pounds. I'm a lot bigger than that now, but I was like 280 pounds. He's every bit of 5'7", 5'8", 160 pounds soaking wet.
Yeah.
He had to think I was 4 feet tall the way I was talking to him, bro. I was like, hey, man, do you give lessons, man? I would like to, take lessons from you, man. It's like, yeah, dude, just hit my number, bro. Like, just hit me up, bro. And just off the fact of like, is that easy, bro?
Yeah.
Like, dude.
Shoot your shot.
Dude.
Just say something.
I was freaking blown away, and it's only because of this freaking place, man.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Bud was the same way. They needed a drum set because something happened to their van, their gear van. And I said, you can use it all you want. I just want one lesson throughout the weekend. And so then they played a private party at a doctor's house who loved them.
Dr. Fitzgerald.
Fitzpatrick.
Fitzpatrick.
And he's they do the Christmas party for him. And they play so I got to hang out, and then I got to sit in I played percussion with them. And I'm just like at a house in Hattiesburg. Ooh. And it all starts like just getting to hang out with them in this spare bedroom upstairs. That's when I've realized Mark Lettieri is like the funniest dude of all time. And then, but like just hanging out with them, even in the Hippo, like after the show, because they know you, and they like we'd always have to get the bar spot, you know. And then Nate right there is playing percussion. Dude, I switched to match grip because of Spud. Because I was just like, I'm just gonna do what he does because this is so. Or I mean, I'll never do what he does, but I want to look like that because that is so cool. Just his whole energy is just having fun, and getting to see that in the old Hippo, and then you know, the talent he brought to the new Hippo was still so like it was just so killer. It does hurt to lose that. But it does make me, when I heard about it, I was like, you know, I don't blame him because it's hard to keep things going in a town this size, that cool, because you don't have the numbers
to support it.
Because it's for alternative kids. It's for everybody got an Xbox, but here's a few people that have PlayStation. Yeah. So we're going to just make a place for them. It's like, that's cool, but the reason they just like PlayStation is because they're kind of weird and flaky and you know, and they might come, they might not. It may not be a good mental health day. Who knows? It's not like a place where, you know, that's the one place I go to drink my Bud Light, and that's it. And they got two bands. They got both types of music, country and Western. You know, it's just like that's like such an automatic. Anywhere you are, not just here. Anywhere you are, you know, it's pop music. So he definitely took a risk and made it work for so long. I just my main thing was there's lots of other people who are putting bands up and really I think like Brian McClellan, who's got Sully's and Brewski's, and where that might be like more cover band stuff at Brewski's, and Sully's might be singer-songwriter if that's not your vibe. He has CNN Music. He is so into live music. I just want us to support the people who are still doing it.
This is my thing, man. Like, this is my thing. Even though it hurts me, this is why it hurts me so much, because I understand the personal side. Because I talked to Brad about it one time about the personal side. Like, yeah, man, go be with your family, you know, all that type of stuff. It's not many other places here that respects, like, original artistry the way Brad respects it. Because for the longest, that's the only way you were going to play at the Hippo, is that you played original music. You know, he's kind of recently, in the last probably 5-10 years, moved over. But because Brian is a cool dude, but it's like, could I do a Friends for Last Shop show at Brewski's?
Yeah, you could.
Holy shit, that's brand new news on...
yeah, you could.
Oh.
Why wouldn't you? That's my thing. Like, why wouldn't you? You could fill the place. Is that what you're asking?
I don't think we could fill the place. I know we couldn't fill the place. But it's like, you see what I'm saying? I was under the impression that he only does, like, cover music there.
Oh. I don't know, man. Maybe it wouldn't be Brewski's. Maybe it would be Sully's. My point is, like, with the live music, I just don't want us to spoil anything else by not supporting it.
Okay.
That's my point.
Okay.
I don't know if that would be a place that would work, but like, ask him. Brian's like the most approachable dude, like Brad. Like, all these guys are super approachable, and want what's best for the area and love music and are putting a serious amount of capital and money into other people getting to enjoy music that they don't even get to enjoy.
Yeah.
Like it's like, I mean, I love Brian. I count the McClellans as like close friends. Taught their kids and just awesome people. And I know somebody like that sees that and goes, "Hey, man, I get it. That's like your niche, but I'm doing the same thing, and it's hard. It's still really hard." With Brad, I can't believe he could pull that off for that long, or wanted to, honestly. Because he also, the beautiful thing about what he did is also the same reason it probably needs to close, is because he would put people up who probably aren't ready for prime time.
Holy moly, donut shop.
And so,
Luke, dude, as great as I may think I am as a musician, when he gave me a shot, I was not ready to be on that stage.
Yeah. Well,
like I may have had the musicality to be on the stage.
Yeah.
But the talking to an audience or the like putting the show together or stuff, I wasn't ready for that.
You asked me what it's like to be like in the entrepreneurial phase right now, I look back at things I did and think about not what I was making, but was it a good product for the context it was in? So there were shows I played at the Hippo where I was more worried about the party, not providing a service for others. And that's why, forget if it's door guarantee, how many people you got, did you make a poster, all that stuff. I didn't put forth the effort to be rewarded appropriately or how I wanted to be. I was rewarded appropriately. I didn't make anything. and I got a good time and I got what I wanted out of it.
Yeah.
But when at the end of the day, this is all a business, man. And are we putting out something that lots of people want to watch and consume or just consume however they want to? The Hippo is such a beautiful venue. I just man, I don't know. I don't want to throw it. I don't want to get negative about it, but it's frustrating because there's lots of people who think they're owed the Hippo, and you're not.
That's a different conversation for those people that think like that.
That's what bugs me about art, and I only say that not because I'm gonna people are gonna change their mind and listen to me say that. I just want people to have less apathy in general, and just maybe just take a hard look and go, what are you producing? What are you putting out? You don't have to have a podcast or, hurt yourself editing videos or playing bass, mastering an art or a craft or anything like that to still be of use to your community. You can you just have to care, and you can't go to the bar every night. You can't go to every musical act. You can't. You shouldn't. But you can still make an effort to go support or at least, I don't know,
spread the word.
Make people feel loved, bro. Everybody just wants to be loved. That's all this is.
ELE.
Everybody love him. Jackie Moon. I puked, mama. I threw up. And he got punched in the jejunum. Yeah, so, it's so sad, but, at the same time, man, that the quote I used is a Dr. Seuss, don't cry because it's ending, smile because it happened.
Yeah.
Dude, Snarky coming to town and being able to text Michael Lee, tell him, check out Ray's Christmas song that he did.
Dude, I almost cried when you sent me that.
And I send him all your stuff, honestly. By the way.
I almost cried just off the strength of, because, I really, man, I was, for the longest, they were the model.
Oh, they still,
for me. They were the models. And so now my model is changing. But for the longest, they were the model. And I was like, man, I just want to be like Snarky Puppy. I want to be like Snarky Puppy. I want to be like Snarky Puppy. Man, just to see that, man, say that, man, yo, bro. And at the time, I think I was dealing, man, dude, that's why I definitely need this therapy. I better help. I would be hitting y'all up. Because at the time I was battling man, am I on the right track, man? Mm-hmm. That's crazy. When we recorded that video, I literally was man, I don't know if I'm on the right track, if I'm doing the right thing. I got this degree. I'm in debt for this degree. Like, dude, I may need to change my life. But just little stuff like that was like, yeah, man, you're doing the right thing. You just got to keep chopping at the wood. You'll figure it out.
Well, for somebody like Mike League is to take the time to say, oh, yeah, Ray sounds great, as always is what he said. It's like, man, and I don't think he'd mind us saying that. Like, those guys like Sput and Nate sending videos when my dad was at PASIC going, Drew, why aren't you here, man? We miss you. Like, it's been so long. Like, these are huge artists and so good too. It's not just like famous and you're like kind of trash. No. Like famous and then just so good. Yeah. But then they also are just like these good people. And that's what the Hippo is for me. It's just like getting to have a connection with like-minded individuals, man, bringing people together. We may not look the same, but we feel the same. Dude, we think the same.
I think I was at one night on a Tuesday night, I was working the door at the Hippo. And he brought this band called Daikaiju.
Yeah, Daikaiju. They're so wild.
Bro, but they're so good.
Yeah.
Blew my mind.
Yeah.
And like super cool dude, just want to talk, hang out, chill.
Yeah.
Like, what the world, bro?
And light a drum set on fire.
On fire, bro. In the Hippo. Mm-hmm. Hey, man, what's going on, Brad? You gonna set the sprinklers off, man?
Yeah.
Bro.
And he's just on the soundboard, like just making sure the bass is all right. It's like literally a drum on fire.
Dude, man, that thing there, man, it's so wild that like you saying, like, man, just it's a friendly environment, bro. Wherever you wanna. I've never seen a fight at Hippo.
No.
Never.
That's not why you're there. You're there for the music. You're there to, for me, it was kind of an escape because it made me feel like it's in a bigger city than I'm in. Mm. And I do well. I don't know if you can tell by looking, but I do well in the city. I do well in society. I commend Bradford for doing that for so long and for doing something so. It's a thankless gig, man. And like with anything, I'm starting to learn too. No matter what you make from it, like even if you packed it out money-wise, if you're having to deal with, there's more people, so you have to deal with fights, or there's more, the music isn't as good or doesn't feel as personal, or I don't know. Like I feel like that's a hard job or a hard avenue to go down, and I just can't believe he did it for that long. I mean, honestly, years, that's crazy, and it's such a blessing to have had that. And I saw like Benny, man, Benny Boom Boom. I saw the toll it took on him, like having a club, and he did this. He was in the same. Like, he brought some great bands to Hattiesburg, too.
Played there.
They played there, and Brad Round Sound, and he also had Arcade Fire come, or not Arcade Fire, it was The Flaming Lips came through for that.
I seen Charlie Hunter
at
the Boom Boom Room.
That's crazy. Johnny Vodakovich, Mike Dillon's Go-Go Jungle. And I saw the toll it took on him, man, and he was just like, it takes a lot out of you. However you want to live, it takes a lot out of you. And we just need to those who are left, be kind and definitely go. I can't wait for your show. That'll be a great way to man. Like, I mean, your shows are always so killer. Like seriously, the last one when we did the video for it.
Yeah, dude. But this is it's like a telltale.
Dude, have you watched that since you found out the Hippo
when you
Club?
Posted it, I was fucking mad at you for posting it. You're sharing it again, man.
But like when I asked everybody what the Hippo means to them,
yes,
dude, that's nuts. Like I had no idea, man. I had no idea that. And then I shared it because it comes in waves for me. There'll be times where I'm just busy and it doesn't bug me, and then there'll be times where it just hits me hard. So much of my life was revolved around getting to go see a band on the weekend or just being excited about something. I don't even have to go. Just being excited about having hope and having that stuff matters. Like that, like having hope about a place very much depends on the idea you have of it, you know? And Hippo made me feel great about Hattiesburg, you know?
So this is what I want to know. Top snarky show you ever seen there? Since we didn't mention them so much, we going to get them out the way. Top snarky show.
Top snarky show. Honestly, I think my favorite was the one where Sput used my kit. Because I played congas with Nate a little. I'm not nearly as good at congas as him, but he still let me play. Yeah. We'd like grab tambourines too. I think that was the first time I actually got to kind of just be a part of it.
I remember seeing that you were by the window at the old Hippo.
I was like, holy shit. Yeah. And then we played a convention center gig with them that weekend, and I got to play congas. And I'd do a conga solo, and Nate, like, afterwards, like, fist bumped me. Yeah. I don't even think it was that good. I just played as many notes as I possibly could. I just played a roll, and I was like, my hands afterwards were just shredded because I don't play congas that very often. But so yeah, at the Hippo, I would say that show, or when they had Tehran, dude. When the first time Tehran Lockett came was also like. What? That was a killer one in the old.
Did you ever see Tehran and Dana play together when they were doing the double set thing?
Yes.
That's my favorite one.
Yes, that's right.
At the old Hippo.
Yeah, I remember that. Dana had the most ridiculous right foot. It's like
crazy.
It's like, bro, you're gonna cramp. Like, you need some water. You want a Gatorade or something? Like, yeah.
Crazy. Is that one in when Bobby came with them to the old Hippo?
Yeah.
Those are my two favorite. Now, outside of Snarky, favorite show you ever seen at the Hippo?
Ooh. This is recency bias, but Wednesday Night Titans.
Fuck!
Yeah.
It was amazing, bro.
Yeah. The wrestling videos.
Blew my mind, bro.
From a production standpoint, just the videos.
Dude.
Just the videos is so hard to do. But then to have a light show that coincides with vintage wrestling videos. Yeah, dude. And then the soloing, the drummer. The soloing on top of it, it's just like going, oh, shoot, I don't know how to do anything.
Dude.
I'm a drummer who knows how to do videos. I felt very small watching
Dude,
that.
I left that show.
That was last year.
Dude, I'm glad you mentioned that.
Yeah.
They are amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing. You seen the joke video that he did on Nicholas Payton, the drummer?
I hadn't seen that.
Oh, I'll show it to you after this, man.
Oh my gosh. Dude, you don't fuck with Nicholas Payton.
he did a joke video on him, man. He pulled up to like a Robert Glasper like sound check. So it's like Glasper, Nicholas Payton, somebody else, dude. Crazy.
Yeah, I had to see that. Yeah, that Wednesday Night Titans was good. And then anytime I like seeing Dynamo, MFA was always a fun one.
MFA, bro.
Afrobeat stuff, bro.
They put me on Fela Kuti.
Yeah.
I went and listened to a lot of that after that.
MFA, and I'm trying to think. I think at the new Hippo, best show would have been Ghost Note. I mean, I know it's still snarky, sort of. I mean, it's Nate. It's Nate and Spud.
Snarky adjacent.
It's Nate and Spud, and to me, like I look at a group like what do the drums sound like? Mm-hmm. What is the style there? Because that builds so much builds off of that, and it kind of defines what a group is going to sound like. Mm-hmm. So Ghost Note for me is just like what I love about Snarky so much is what Nate and Spud were able to start, and then what they were able to, the band itself was able to build even after Spud wasn't involved anymore. So, yeah.
This is what I want to ask before we move on from the Thirsty Hippo and we get ready to wrap the episode up. What are things we can do as... How can I frame this? I guess it's two sides. Us as the artists and the creators and, what can we do to help the community now that this big part of the community is about to leave, and what can the patrons, the people who just come watch, the fans, the patrons, what can they do to help?
You can't take each other for granted. I mean, that's the biggest thing. Everybody's going to come to my show. I don't have to post about it. I don't have to make a flyer. I don't have to post about it more than once because it's so much, I don't have to try and advertise it the way any other business would advertise themselves. And then the patrons, this is a cool spot. I go to most shows. They're going to still want to stay here and create because they have a place to do it. And I'm mostly supportive of them in my head. I don't physically know how many times I've been to see this band or liked this video or actually press the subscribe button, please. Like, if you're watching this, click this. It costs you nothing. Absolutely nothing.
2 seconds of your time.
2 years of Hardy Street Boyz, we got to 500-something subs. I'm going, there's 500. How many people are in the city of Hattiesburg? There's
50,000.
only... I get 500-something? All right, cool. Like... It's hard to, and so for a creator, you hear me just say that, all right, cool, that kind of sarcastic, like, it's important not to get cynical either. And just understand that it's a market. It's not your friends. It's not how people really feel or think about you. It's the market is behaving a certain way, which is a hive mind that, you know what I mean? And you got to figure it out, and it's not normal.
You gotta figure out a way to penetrate the hive.
For sure.
Wow.
For sure. But patrons, I mean, honestly, the thing is about supporting, but not going to every show and getting blackout drunk. That's the problem I see with Hattiesburg. Hattiesburg kind of has a drinking problem overall, as far as people who support live music, and that's going to hurt people's feelings, and I hope it does. Because, and myself included, I've been in that cycle. It's not good for you, man. It's not good for you, and don't tell me about the music when you're really about getting trashed. You can get trashed wherever. If you're really
stay home and get trashed.
Bro, if you're really about the music, you pay $8 and go see a band. $8 is nothing.
Oh, man, dude, you know how fucking ridiculous that it is that I was paying $10 to see Snarky Puppy.
10.
Paying $10 to see Corey Henry.
This many. You saw Corey Henry solo in the back.
That is easily a $30 ticket anywhere
else. Corey Henry, well, now, I mean, yeah, it's 50 to 100 at least.
It's like, dude, it's like, man, so don't complain when we raise, like, man, don't complain if you come to the show and it's $20.
Yeah.
Like, yo. But if it's only $7, it's only $10. Like, man, don't make a big deal out of this.
And this is my thing about complaining about $20. I wouldn't complain about paying $20 for your show, but I'm also putting things out, creating, grinding. I have a purpose. I'm pretty well satisfied in my work life, and what I'm supposed to be doing. That's why I won't complain. And you don't have enough people who are putting things out, and it doesn't have to be to the same degree. Everybody's different. You don't have enough people putting things out or contributing to the place other than going there a lot and getting hammered.
Ooh.
So then you're going to complain about the cover charge. You're probably not going to tip well. You're going to be upset about how long it takes for your drink to get to you because that's all you're focused on, right? Like, I want the focus to be, I want you to mean what you say. If you tell me you love music and that's what you're focused on or that's what you can't live without, then go to a show and don't drink. If you're strapped for cash, you ain't got it, man, there's nothing wrong with that. There's no shame in that. But don't spend it on shots because you spend it on the band.
Yeah.
Just tell me what you really like, though. Be honest about what you're really there for. You know, if you're there, if you're just trying to party and meet somebody, I mean, then do that. But don't be upset when the art falls by the wayside, you know?
Yes.
Just because you see an artist drink or an artist smoke doesn't mean you drinking or smoking also makes you an artist because you're in the same building as them.
Ooh. God doggone.
Yeah.
Doggone, Drew. You're stepping on some toes in the sanctuary today, my boy.
Yeah, man. And I just wore sneaks today, but figuratively, I wore my big boots.
Hey, you.
So we can mourn a place that we love.
But we have to keep moving, though. That's the thing. And Brad wouldn't want us to not keep moving.
No.
Hey, I'm going to look directly in my camera. Brad wouldn't want us to stop moving. If you know Brad well enough, you know that's not even, hey, man, keep going, bro. Figure it out. Go somewhere else. Figure it out. So every band, man, don't stop, man. Keep going. And, you know, it's kind of going to be hard for me. I'm preaching to myself. I'm going to have to go back and watch this part. Because I don't trust nowhere else. Like, I don't.
Right.
Only other place I do trust is Brewski's.
Right.
Because I know everything there is going to be good quality. But, you know, hey, man, go play other places. Try it out.
Yeah.
Drew, it's been a hell of a conversation.
Yeah, man.
Hey, man, I'm telling you, I learned a lot about you. I'm so glad to know that you went to Rowan for a year. That fucking blew my mind.
Last class of Rowan, we shut it down.
Fucking Hattiesburg High. You blew my mind, dude.
Oh, man.
That's like Mr. Pinella when Mr. Pinella was telling me that Joy went to Hattiesburg High. Joy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like Joy is in Hattiesburg High. I can only imagine how that was. But, you know, dude, it's been so much. I enjoyed this conversation with you, man. Again, March 16th. Come out. That's this Thursday, 8 p.m. We're going to have a good time. Remember, Smash & Co. If you need us, we here. Whatever you need. We a one-stop shop, baby. Audio, video, photography, editing. We'll watch your kid for you if you need us to. Huh? You hear me? We'll watch your kid. Just come holler at us, man. Go to smashingcompany.co and then you can smashingco.co and then in the Dropbox say Ray sent me here for you to watch my kid. That's it. Catch me on Instagram, Ray D Bradford. Again, that's RAYDBRADFORD. You can catch me on Facebook. Raymond D. Bradford. I do got a Twitter too. It's Ray Bradford. It's a little unfiltered on Twitter land. I say whatever. Drew, where can they find you at, Drew?
I am Drew Wooten on Instagram. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and then the Hardy Street Boyz on Instagram. All the social. And be on the lookout for the New South with Robert St. John and the Comp Building Lofts. Gonna have some fun stuff. Comp Building Lofts on Instagram.
All right. Thank y'all for watching again, man. Peace and love. Keep your mind right. Enjoy your family. Go hug your mama, hug your sister, hug your daddy, hug your brother. You never know. Life is fleeting, man. I don't want to end morbidly, but I just feel love is important. So go love on somebody. Peace out.